Hello everyone. Welcome to today's workshop. Let me check on Discord a little bit. Let's wait a little bit because my staff is setting up the stream on Discord. Oh yeah, it's like the internet got problem. Okay, I will wait a little bit because I need to set the stream on Discord. Okay, everyone. Uh, Joining in. Thank you for being here with us today. Last week we learned a lot about fundamental of game design and a little bit on why uh, the gaming on Solana is a good direction like to go. And this week, like most of the content on this week, we will focus more on the on-chain gaming or like Solana gaming. And today we have our special guest, Sammy. And Sammy, can you introduce a little bit about yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Semi from Zen. So yeah, hello everyone. I'd like to introduce you some concepts of basically interactive design and how actually we can have gamified UIs and all of those things to attract, make more on-chain users and have actual on-chain mechanisms integrated in your normal applications and all of that. So yeah, nice to meet you, everyone. I hope my voice is all clear and loud.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think we should get started now and then
Okay,
come to the workshop. So
okay, let's start. So the first thing I wanted to talk about like is a very like simple sentence like how you view any on-chain like basically any on-chain application or any on-chain work you're performing. So it's that simple. So we start with how minimalism works and simplicity works and all of that. So I have three hooks which I always integrate in my design, which are like these are pretty unconventional and they kind of break rules, but I always integrate these in my design. So I'll let you guys know. So first of all, which is a very kind of controversial to what we give as UI aspect for design, which is giving no directions. So, for example, there's a user app or any game. Like normally we have a very clear UI that directs them to perform one action to other. But in some cases in on-chain Web3 apps and games, sometimes giving overload of information gives you a lot of problems because as we can see, like in Web3 apps and games, that there are a lot of information about transactions, history, and all of the Web3 elements in the Web3 jargon. So adding like basically reducing that and okay, um, for example, when you open an app after downloading it and you just land on this particular page and you see this hand icon bouncing here and implies implying that the user should tap on the screen and like once tapped you are entirely into that experience. Now that is like one visual cue, but for someone who has experience in going through this can easily probably won't even notice the lack of directions, but for everyone else it's basically an option to learn by a trial and error. So for example, the only way to figure out a specific mechanic without just like jumping into an app is just like experiencing it for the first time. And it kind of can be a problem in some ways like one, but if you try to give someone a thorough up to down of an app just while onboarding them, it gets like pretty tiring and complicated because again web3 apps and games have a lot of levels of depth because of the involvement of transactions and on-chain mechanics. So giving them those disclaimers, giving them those information about those transactions gets a lot on the user. So while we are always supposed to give clear instructions, clear directions about the transactions happening, the on-chain mechanics that are involved in an app or a game or anything, I prefer to sometimes like keep the directions they get through trial and error rather than overloading them with the information. Yeah. Also, having like more visual cues like an animated hand directed over different controls and yeah, notifications that pop up after the action has ended, and basically that. Yeah. Another important thing for me is adding like especially Easter eggs. So like in this design, it's more about something that is the app like the app doesn't have a need for this, but having small Easter eggs which are actually related to on-chain transactions, like having compressed NFTs for just a snapshot, is pretty important here. Okay, so let's get into some of the microtransactions. So yeah, basically investigating a user attitude towards these growing types of microtransactions. So like in recent years, many of these apps have seen a shift towards like live service models, and as a means of generating basically recurring revenue. and these are mostly through in-app purchases, and basically, and that's the whole concept of microtransactions. And a lot of times these microtransactions have been kind of linked to a concept of dark patterns, like design patterns that favor the service of at the expense of the end user, whether it's useful or not useful. But normally we try to give an advantage or a special kind of perk, but how you segregate that perk is the pattern for dark design. So basically, one widespread yet poorly studied microtransaction is, you can say, different kinds of passes. While the subscription model is widely like favorable, um, the pass model has much more dark pattern microtransactions than the subscription model. So yeah, and even in the subscription model, we always gate users using um, like a special pass, like for a certain number of actions which we give them, and then even while having the subscription, if they want to perform like above the limit of those actions and these transactions, it gets charged like per tokens or per plays or all of that. So yeah, basically that. Also, like this data has been like basically has like reflexive thematic analysis, and it kind of increases engagement, but if you overdo it, it can decrease engagement too. So it's a pretty a pretty risky mechanic to add. So that's one thing that's there. Yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about is like a one hand interface. So this is a very important thing. Like like nowadays, all of the phones and Apple especially provides like accessibility using one hand, but still, if you see in this interface, all of the key functionalities of this app are positioned within the lower 50% of the screen. So because like you need to consider the user if you want to the user to use your app or play a game while traveling, while um, doing their daily life stuff. You should like always these are the key areas you should where you should place and position these important actions. And like yeah, the lower 50% of the screen is the sweet spot, but you can have like a reachability threshold, which is again according to your app. But yeah, like you can see the menu bar is at the bottom and all of the donation features, and yeah, dragging and tapping and are initiated from the bottom screen. And again, app drawers are there. So that's one like key outline for the one hand interface. Yeah, let's get into a bit of visual depth. So as you can see here, in this app in particular, there is never a two-level depth, more than a two-level depth, you can say. Um, so like this is actually a two-level depth, but it is made to look like a one-level depth. And the underlying window here, when once you open that window, gets hidden. So that kind of like visualizes the user as he has not been like opening different windows and going down like a rabbit hole of different options and windows. So like this is a rule that you should keep always a two-level depth maximum, and make it look like a one level depth as much as possible. And this is basically a rare case of a like a full screen window, but it's very rare. If you navigate to a full screen window, it's better to have app drawers and like that to till two-level depths or pop-ups, I guess. And of course, yeah. Um, People get easily confused when they're going through multiple screens and kind of lose track of them. So this enforces their mental model, and it creates a interface that kind of user expects and knows like how to orient fully. And yeah, you can see the previous UI also before the pop-up window, and which kind of it is a detail, but I mean the UX details are everything. So that's important. And of course, they should not forget how to go back and lose track of interfaces. So yeah, that is something I feel which is very important. Um, so let's go to one more concept about cognitive load. So basically, you should have one menu to rule them all. So like cognitive load is basically a human thing. Humans have different UI cognitive load, which kind of limits the processing capability of the brain and like in visual sense. So the UID needs to be designed with that in mind. Like it's very common in to use these unique and bright colors for important UI components and uh, like just color code the similar things in that way. So that is pretty much important. And plus in the main menu, the like bottom of the screen is occupied by all of the navigation shortcuts for different screens, and having a menu is visible in the UI, and it's pretty convenient for the navigation. Users won't have problems with orientation. They would feel that they're in control of the interface. So like again, giving them control of the interface is much important, and they would feel that they're like they can always come back to the place they need to be. The division of the shortcuts is pretty intuitive, and because it's based on the different categories of needs that players might have. So yeah, that's pretty important. Now we get to the kind of we started from microtransactions, so now we go to the like bigger, more important transactions, and like how the paradox of choice influences them. So like when analyzing an in-app shop, we can see it's like pretty minimalistic. Usually have like six items on the screen and not more than that mostly. And this is something called the paradox of choice. And in short, like giving them too many options to choose from creates kind of a lot of anxiety. And so like our short-term memory can only hold up like seven items, seven choices on a UI. So I mean, depending from person to person, like plus minus two, and like forcing people to memorize like a big amount of information, and like in the shop or in the where they want to place their microtransactions can be a pretty bad experience for customers. I think so. Kind of putting all of that information together shows why it's kind of important to be conservative with the amount of information shows to player. As you can see in this UI, it's pretty much explained that way. And yeah, some might say that making like it a better experience doesn't like limiting the options doesn't create a better user experience. It kind of forces them, but I think in the end, like they might spend more money than they want to spend. But yeah, like even though all of the users should be pretty much treated with respect and should given the freedom of choice, but we can layer that information always and like kind of create the best environment, and let them decide for themselves. So again, keeping it minimal, but of course providing with all of the information. And yeah, um, basically that. So next we can go to how we give cues. Okay. So again, interactions are the most important part of this of the cues. Going back to this previous slide, actually, here you can see there are like especially focusing on the interactions part. Basically, people have very different habits when they're interacting with UI, and basically changing user habits is very difficult. Like the best case scenario in creating UI that can be used in a few different ways, and it kind of reaches as many users as possible. So I know it takes a lot of time and analysis, and I mean developers thought about it and gave like the users the ability to use parts of the interface in a few different ways. Um, Again, it is the key part of the whole app, and like keeping it in place, and kind of we have that ability. So here, like, you keep the drag and drop, which is very important, and like balancing between the drag and drop and like the tap interface is pretty much very important. So that's there. And like the main menu of the game, or like game or the app has like kind of a lot of improvements here. So if we like just tap on the donate button, or like just tap or hold, it gets to a different request or gives you much more options for that. And like the menu navigation is enabled in a lot of ways, like swipe left, right to change the view, and tap on the icon on the bottom to change the view. And again, opening different views and chests are also there. You can also time them. It doesn't always have to be fast, like slow and fast opening. Like it's a small improvement, but like having to like doing the same action hundreds of times is a huge time and anxiety saver. So that's there. Yeah, again. So we've gone through this. We've gone through these slides. Yeah, now we can get back to all of our cues. So in this specifically, I want to talk about how gaming has these cues the most in all of Web3. So again, gameplay is what basically gamers are about, and where players spend their most of the time. It's pretty vital to focus on the user experience here. I mean, because it will define the experience of your app. So now, when the interaction is pretty well matched with the user experience and it kind of doesn't bother the user, otherwise it might happen. They will complain about broken interaction, a broken like other things that are likely not the core of the problem. Like even if it's not a core function and it still gets the work done, people still actually complain. And here comes the user feedback, which is pretty valued. And yeah, so um, even our developers are pretty focused on like clear and understandable interactions by kind of limiting distractions. And because of that, users can focus on the core loop of the app and or the gameplay, and it supports them by providing all of the needed information. um, some interactions are all labeled here. You can see all of those informations, and even deployment time kind of varies here between different units, and like the visual effects when the units get different statuses are different. So that's there. And like there's a unit drop area also available. So yeah, like that's pretty much important. And based on the user, what the labels they have, the cues they have, the UI differentiates that. So yeah, that's pretty much it about that. um, we can also look into some aesthetic choices we have made. So here, um, basically, this is inspired by a artist called Harry Nesbitt. Basically, he learned um, all of these aesthetic parallax choices in span of 2 years just to create his app, and which pretty much led to these eye-pleasing details and like kind of resulted in the title's ability to create this soothing sensation and carving down this whole parallax view. And of course, like there are a lot of tiny illustrations which represent different aspects of it, and different kinds of animation here for like just graphic design and motion alone. So it's pretty fairly simple. And yeah, that's kind of our aesthetic choice also, like a bit of evocative visual design, minimalist design is there. Again, SFX and VFX also matter a lot here. Um, Also, having a universal app with like a bit of iCloud support, so that kind of targets the whole of the Apple users. And again, even if the distribution is pretty much easier on the Android and like the Play Store side, having a good distribution and like a good integration with the iCloud is pretty important here. So that's there. um, I have gone through this slide mostly. uh, yeah, here one thing I have kind of hugely like left and underestimated, which is basically the competitive world. Basically, how the bullet hell games, you can say, hell games were like a crazy genre back in like when they actually started. They're called as shoot 'em ups or the Maka games like that. And I guess there was a guy named Dr. Mark Johnson who first time like coined this term called the bullet hells. And yeah, since then we have like explored this rarely seen world of competitive shams, and basically shed some light on the place of these games and the contemporary gaming culture by drawing on their experience and insights by both researchers. Also, yeah, basically, when I actually got my first like world high record in a bullet hell and like Damak game, the question like formed like if you just dodge like a million or 100K bullets over the last 24 minutes, and like this it was a pretty like big feat and big things at that point of time. So like again, bullet hell games like rely on the chaos and like short periods of time and grazing bullets and killing enemies up close. And yeah, it kind of comes into the center of the eyesight and like about a third of the screen, like above the ship, and treating each bullet as a component of like basically a geometric ever shifting maze. It's basically like a maze, but yeah, it's always ever shifting. You can think about it like that. And like basically, yeah, the only way someone can ever beat your scores is by playing the exact same game but better than me. That is why we call arcade games like very easy to like understand and very hard to master. And yeah, that's the core of it. So yeah, so again, we've gone through all of this now. No directions, Easter eggs, microtransactions, and like battle passes and dark patterns, competitive bullet hell games, and interfaces. Yeah, of course, visual depth and how we saw this UI helps in that, giving the gameplay cues. Yeah, of course, key elements which need special treatment, the shops, and aesthetic choices. Finally, like kind of that's all from my side on the explanation part. I mean, now I guess it's arcade time. Um, so yeah, that's all from the presentation side. What do you think, Hippo? Do you want to play something to kind of end this? Hey,
Thank you, Sammy. So let's check around if there are any question.
yeah,
So I'm not like okay, VJ. So I have one question like so up for the all the game that you show like my question, so like what about the budget of like the game, or like I feel like the artistic choice of the game is like the one with the most like indie friendly budgets, and like something like the combat and
yeah. So I'll tell
yeah.
you,
So if like yeah.
while building my own games. Sometimes 2D games cost much more than 3D games. Like we normally think that making a 2D game would be much more cheaper, but sometimes it happens that like 2D games end up costing much more than 3D games in a way, like because there are a lot of sprites involved, a lot of artistic choices involved that side, and it kind of gets like layered and layered and layered, and like it kind of gets much more costlier than 3D games. So I guess even if there are a lot of aesthetic choices involved, especially in Solana, I think you should first get out a proper like a prototype and like layer it so that you can apply those aesthetic choices in layers rather than in the core gameplay. And once it's layered, it's much cheaper to replace and enhance the quality of. So I hope it answers your question.
Yeah, I think that make a lot of sense. Thank you. So let's see like if anyone in Discord have any other question.
Yeah.
Uh, so a question on Discord is like what you suggest in today game market? What you suggest the key bullet point to take note and take care of the most?
In the market. Okay, so I'll kind of tell you what like through my experience. So um, like especially in Solana, when I started building games, I was much more focused on like having this technology like blinks and squads in our games, and at that time like there's a bit of, so normally we always focus on gaming and all of that. But you need to have an like the basically the 10x element here. So while making a game on Solana, you're always competing with pump fun and meme coins. That is like the core of Solana at all. And like for attention, like competing with meme coins, like why would someone like play a game instead of going to trade a meme coin? So you need to give them that dopamine hit, the adrenaline hit of getting a 10x while enjoying and while playing a game. So like yeah, always remember that your competition is meme coins, and like people all on Solana always want to do a 10x and they'll always prioritize that. So being able to kind of be on Solana and um, kind of giving a fair way to for a person to do a 10x can bring them to your game. And if your gameplay on-chain mechanics is not strong enough, they'll think like, yeah, like instead of this like playing the game which we can play in a Web2 game also, it's better to trade a meme coin, all of that. So that's very important who your competition is. It's not just other games, it's all of the pumponomics basically.
He just answer your question, OV Mars. And Free Sodap asks like when Vibe officially releasing.
What officially is releasing? What do you want me to release? The Send Arcade app? That might release in uh, like next month. But before that, we have a line of games that are coming. Like we released Ten Guys a few days ago. We might release Vibe Game like in 1 or 2 days. And there are games called there's a Man game with AI agents that we'll release in next week. So yeah, there are a lot of line of games which are aligned like lined up, kind of focusing on finishing those. And yeah, that's from my side.
Hmm. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone have any more question? Okay, I'm just checking around to see. Uh, everyone okay? Everyone good? So if like we don't have any more question, we can move to the like a quiz section and can be help me with my screen.
Okay, sure.
So I just yeah. Yeah, so like usually we do this like in every end of the workshop, so like people can join in and like win something.
Okay, sounds cool. Let's go.
Yeah.
We have quite a few players.
We got a lot of participant today, so let's wait a little bit more. Oh, do you want to join Semi? You can join as well, like even if your slide. I know it may be not fair if you join. Wait for me. Come on, OV, like you came here for the quiz and now we have to wait for you to play the
Yeah,
game.
yeah, let's go.
Are you in, OV? I haven't seen you here. So John, Sayu, B, VJ. Okay, so free sword app. I see you in the Discord, but I don't see you joining. Okay, okay. I we will wait for you. Everybody good? What about OV Mars? Are you there yet? Okay, thank you. Free sword app. Awesome, awesome. What about you, OV? You told us to wait. Okay, we are waiting for you, bro. You just need to scan the QR, like use your phone. Why is so difficult? So while we waiting, Sammy, is there any information or like anything that how people can connect to you and how people can like you know
I mean, you can just go to like
okay, just share
zenarcade.fun.
your information in the chat,
Yeah,
so your Twitter or your like anything.
okay. I mean, you can. I'll share on my Twitter chat, the Twitter chat only. I mean,
Okay.
I just did a GM there. You can just DM me on Twitter, or you can just go to zenarcade.fun and like find everything there. So yeah, that's there.
Okay, send. Okay, I think it will show up on the slide. So I think everyone is here, so we can start with the quiz for.
Let's go.
Uh,
Okay, I didn't thought the quiz will be based on my slides. Crazy. When did you have time to prepare this? It's pretty cool. Cool.
yeah, I just generate this with like AI, and it's just fun activities.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah. I mean, if I join, I'm probably like not gonna win, even like I create the question.
You should join. That will be very fun. Even I might not have. Lol. I should win though. It's my slides.
Okay.
Bye. Two more questions to go.
We just have 5 questions only.
Yeah, one more. Okay, this is number four, right?
Okay, final
Last
question, and
question.
we will have the winner. Okay, let's see the winner.
Who's the winner?
Oh, Sayu win again.
Yeah, I answered one question wrong. Lol. Haha. Let's go.
Yeah,
Congrats.
Sammy, the creator of the presentation, only got second place. So congratulations to Sayu.
Yeah, you're like way smarter than I am. So let's go.
Yeah, so thank you, Sammy, for today, and we hope to
Yeah.
see you soon. Yeah, I think it was fun, and like a lot of people seem to interested in what you do. So yeah,
Thank you,
I
everyone.
think Sayu and Vijay is two people that actually won like 2 times.
Wow.
So yeah, Sayu is like
Let's go.
very good like with like this quiz and
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Good. Congrats, everyone. Thank you for having me. See you soon.
see you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.